What's up, guys? Golden Knight here. There are countless talented people stuck in lives that have nothing to do with their art, hoping that someday someone will discover their work and everything will fall into place. But reality is different. The world has changed, the internet has rewritten the rules, and today there are clear paths to turn creativity into real income. In this video, you'll understand that living 100% off your art doesn't depend on a miracle, but on strategic choices. There are 9 fundamental paths that artists around the world use to build solid and, to some extent, predictable income. By the way, I have to say, I've been taking the art school for digital artists by Mark Brunette, and honestly, I've never learned so much in such a short time. It's a super complete course, like a condensed art school, focused only on what really matters. Perspective, anatomy, composition, all explained really well. If you want to level up fast, this is the way. Check the first link in the description. Totally worth it. Custom commissions. Almost every artist starts here, but few truly understand the real power of commissions. At first glance, it seems like just trading time for money. Someone requests a piece, you create it, deliver it, and get paid. But when done right, this process goes far beyond that. Commissions are the first real contact between your art and the market. Many treat commissions as a side hustle or something temporary, done carelessly. When you do that, the client gets the same impression, which destroys your credibility. You need to position yourself as a professional artist. A well-organized portfolio, clear pricing, defined deadlines, and confident communication make clients trust you even before seeing the final piece. And trust sells more than any advanced drawing technique. There's also a huge difference between competing on price and competing on value. When you try to be the cheapest, you enter a never-ending war. There will always be someone charging less. But when you make the client understand that you're selling experience, story, and emotion, the game changes. The client isn't just buying a drawing, they're buying a piece of their own story, translated through your vision. Here's a detail that almost no one notices: every commission is also a showcase. A satisfied client becomes free advertising. A well-presented artwork becomes content. A well-managed project becomes authority. Over time, you stop chasing clients and start being sought out. That's how commissions evolve from just a starting point to a solid base for other income sources. But there's a natural limit to this model. You can only sell so many hours of your day. And that's exactly what leads us to the next point, where your art starts working for you, even when you're not actively creating. Selling digital art online. At some point, every artist realizes that trading time for money has a ceiling. That's where selling digital art comes in. Unlike commissions, here you create once and can sell the same piece dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of times. It's the first time your art stops depending solely on your presence. Many people think selling digital art is just posting a pretty drawing and waiting for sales to roll in. It's not like that. The secret is understanding utility. Illustrations, brushes, textures, patterns, templates, graphic elements, all of these solve real problems for other creatives. When you create something that saves time, streamlines processes, or inspires others, the value of your art multiplies. Another crucial point is presentation. An amazing piece poorly presented goes unnoticed. Clear thumbnails, well-written descriptions, and a consistent visual identity make the audience trust what you're selling. People aren't just buying a file, they're buying the promise that it will work for their purpose. The clearer this is, the higher the chances of selling. There's also a powerful cumulative effect. A well-made product can keep selling for months or years. Even with a few sales per day, long-term volume builds income that gives artists breathing room. This predictability completely changes your relationship with money and art. You stop creating only under pressure. And when you start tasting that freedom, a natural desire arises to go beyond the screen. To see your art gain form, texture, and presence in the real world. That's exactly what leads us to the next point. Physical product store. There's something very powerful about seeing your art off-screen, on a t-shirt, on someone's wall as a poster, on a sticker on a notebook or laptop. In that moment, your creation becomes more than just an image. It becomes part of someone's life. And that's exactly what makes physical products one of the strongest forms of art monetization. Many artists get stuck here because they imagine inventory, high investments, and shipping headaches. But today that's no longer a real barrier. With print-on-demand models, you create the design and the platform takes care of the rest. This allows you to test ideas without fear, understand what your audience likes, and adjust your product line based on real data, not guesswork. When you sell physical products, you're not just selling art, you're selling identity. People buy because they resonate with your aesthetic, your message, the emotion it evokes. That's why visual consistency is essential. The more recognizable your style is, the easier it is to create desire. Your art becomes a signature. Another important point is that products build your brand in the long term. Someone wearing your t-shirt becomes a walking billboard. A poster on a wall creates daily emotional connection. This strengthens your presence even when you're not online. Your art starts to circulate on its own, carrying your name with it. Recurring support. There's a huge difference between someone liking your art and someone deciding to support you financially every month. When that happens, it's not just about money, it's about belonging. Recurring support platforms allow fans to become active participants in your journey, following your behind-the-scenes process, studies, mistakes, and growth. Many artists think they can only launch this kind of support when they're already well known, but the truth is the opposite. The smaller and closer the community, the stronger the bond tends to be. People don't just support the final result, they connect with the process. Seeing a sketch, a failed study, or a raw idea builds intimacy and humanity. The key here isn't the number of rewards, but consistency and sincerity. It's not about making wild promises, but delivering something real on a clear schedule. When supporters know what to expect, they feel secure in continuing. And that predictability creates a financial base that gives the artist peace to create without desperation. Another powerful point is that recurring support changes your mindset. You stop creating just to please algorithms or one-off clients and start creating for people who believe in you. That gives creative and emotional freedom. Your art stops being a gamble and becomes a long-term relationship. And when you build that trust, a new desire naturally arises among your audience, to learn from you, to understand how you think, how you create, how you got to where you are. That's exactly where the next path begins. Teaching art online. At some point in your journey, you realize that things that come naturally to you still seem impossible to others. Techniques, shortcuts, thought processes, decisions you make almost automatically. That's where the value of teaching lies. You don't need to be the best artist in the world. You just need to be a few steps ahead of someone who wants to learn. Teaching art online isn't just about launching a full, complex course. Often it starts small. A single class, a short workshop, a one-off mentorship. When well explained, something simple can completely shift a student's perspective. And that transformation generates something very powerful: trust. Beyond direct income, teaching positions you as a reference. Your name starts to be associated with clarity, teaching ability, and authority. This attracts not only students, but also clients, brands, and opportunities that might never have come otherwise. Sharing knowledge expands your presence far beyond your own artwork. There's also an internal gain. Teaching forces you to organize your thoughts, understand your own processes, and see your art with more awareness. It improves your creations, your communication, and even your professional self-esteem. You stop feeling like just someone who draws, and start seeing yourself as someone who masters a craft. And when your name starts gaining more traction, an even bigger possibility arises. Art licensing. There comes a moment in an artist's life when they realize they don't have to be present for every sale to earn money. Licensing is born exactly from that mindset shift. Instead of selling a piece of art once, you allow companies to use your creations on products, campaigns, or packaging, while you retain ownership and receive ongoing royalties. Many people think licensing is something distant, reserved for famous artists. But the truth is that brands are constantly looking for fresh styles, unique identities, and standout visuals. They're not after generic perfection, they want personality. And that's something you already have. What's often missing is organization and consistency. For this model to work, your portfolio needs to tell a clear story. It's not about having 100 different styles, it's about showcasing a recognizable universe. Cohesive collections, patterns, recurring themes. This makes it easier for companies to see how your art can fit real products. The easier you make that visualization, the higher your chances of closing deals. Licensing also changes your relationship with time. A single contract can generate income for months or years. This gives you mental space to experiment, study, and create without the constant pressure to sell your next piece. Your art starts to fund your own evolution. But not every artist wants to work alone or only with brands. Many enjoy the challenge of different projects, varied deadlines, and creative teams. Freelancing for companies and studios. Working as a freelancer is, for many artists, the bridge between the authorial world and the professional market. It's when your art becomes part of games, books, animations, campaigns, and products that reach thousands of people. This path isn't just about making money, it's about maturing as a professional. Each project brings a new challenge, a different deadline, an unexpected briefing, a limitation that forces you to think outside the box. You learn to adapt your style without losing identity, to accept feedback without erasing yourself, and to deliver quality under pressure. These skills are as valuable as technique. Another essential point is communication. An artist who communicates well, understands what the client needs, and meets deadlines is rare. And the market values rarity. Many times, a client prefers someone reliable and organized over someone more technically skilled but difficult to work with. Professionalism opens doors that talent alone can't. Plus, freelance jobs expand your network. A job well done leads to another. A contact becomes a referral. Little by little, you gain the power to choose, selecting projects that truly suit you. And that transforms your relationship with the market. You stop accepting everything out of necessity. Social media. For a long time, artists relied on intermediaries to be seen. That's changed. Social media now allows you to speak directly to those who consume art. But many still use these platforms only as showcases, when in fact, they're bridges to connection. And connection is what creates value. Creating content doesn't mean becoming a slave to the algorithm or posting aimlessly. It means sharing your process, your thoughts, your story. Showing how an idea is born, how a mistake happens, how a piece evolves. When people follow that, they begin to root for you. And those who root for you, support you, buy from you, and recommend you. It's not the follower count that defines impact, it's the level of engagement. A small but engaged group sustains more than a large, indifferent crowd. When you create content that inspires, teaches, or makes someone feel seen, your art becomes more than aesthetic. It becomes experience. Another important effect is that social media fuels all your other income streams. They drive people to your commissions, products, courses, recurring support. Everything connects. Your presence becomes a living system that works for you daily. Building your personal brand. There's a decisive moment in every artist's life when they realize they don't just sell drawings, paintings, or illustrations. They sell perception, emotion, identity. This is where most stop, and where everything is decided. Building a personal brand means accepting that your art carries an invisible signature, something that makes your work recognizable even without your name. Brand isn't a logo, color palette, or pretty feed. Those are consequences. Brand is what people feel when they encounter your art. It's the story you tell, the message you repeat, the emotion that flows through your work. When that's clear, all your other income streams become stronger. Your prices rise, your audience trusts you more, opportunities come with less effort. Artists who live off their art don't depend on a single platform, specific client, or fleeting trend. They build a universe. Everything connects: commissions, products, teaching, content, partnerships. The brand becomes the central axis that supports the system. And the more coherent it is, the more freedom you gain to create without fear. In the end, living off your art is absolutely possible. But it doesn't happen overnight. It's a conscious construction made of choices, tests, and consistency. Choose a path, take the first step, and allow the next one to reveal itself. If this video helped you in any way, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next ones. Thanks so much for watching all the way through. Don't forget to take a look at the description. There are several important links there that can help you even more. See you in the next video.